All right, we are looking at the warm-ups for Team Canada and Team Malaysia. We've got one of those high-profile matches coming up shortly where some of the medal favorites, some of the teams who've met each other in medal games multiple times over the last few years, going to be facing off again. And there's a decent amount of continuity between the players on both of these teams, so let us see how this match goes down. I think we're still a few minutes away from the actual start time. So feel free to grab your popcorn, your alcoholic beverage, whatever it is you do in order to get ready for these games. See the athletes on the Canadian side, they're doing a lot more stretching and dynamic warming up in the match, whereas we see a little less structured, and the Malaysian side just kind of some people chatting, some people tossing the balls around, some people just kind of bouncing on their feet a little bit, and some stretching. There's no one right way to warm up for dodgeball. So we're going to see how these teams, if their styles kind of match up well with each other. Say Canada probably has a few more kind of powerful throws. Malaysia probably has the edge in overall team foot speed and blocking ability. Canada sporting their new for this year, bold as they can, white and pink jerseys. And Malaysia in what I think we could call at this point their traditional color scheme, the yellow and green. Kind of a classic look for them, whereas a more bold and different look for Team Canada this year. We see a few of the newcomers on Canada. Number 77, Martin Dutil, activated a little bit before the tournament, coming out of the province of Quebec. We also have Nathaniel Zanke, number 33, new to the national team. Will Andrusik, number 23, playing out of Ottawa. Quite the performer on himself. And Kaylin Estabrooks, number 19, also new to the program. Him as well as Zanke playing out of Toronto. Oh, and Waddingham too. Kyle Waddingham, who has been on Team Maple Leaf in the past, the alternate squad that used to be used by Team Canada. But this is Kyle Waddingham's first year on the national team itself. And they, of course, are joined by some of the returning veterans from the team. John Woo, Jason Mergler, Cam Renican, Jeff Snow, and Josh Eustace, and co-captain Matthew Garcia Silvera, sharing those captain duties this year with Jason Mergler. Oh, and Richard Tom Singh. Man, I should not forget about him. He's also returning to the team. I believe this is his third year with the group. Team Malaysia has quite a few returning stars. Gunting Pyong, Robert C.K., all formidable players who've faced off against Canada multiple times. And now we see Canada doing a bit more of the back and forth throwing, still mostly as a group. Still pretty structured. And looks like once he finishes figuring out how to drink water, Bill Fisher is going to be joining me again for this game. How you feeling, Bill?
I'm feeling great. I just realized what you were commentating. We're live right now.
Hey, we find the entertainment wherever we can. So
yeah, no judgment. I think it's I'd like to see Team Malaysia get in on this game. I think it's mix it up a little bit. I want to see how they perform in this format. If only this was a new division.
Right. Yeah, this is I would expect. Oh yeah, that's true. Waddingham was actually on the national team last year. I probably should have remembered that. So, I think as we look at these teams, we're going to see if the clash between them, like I think both teams have involved a lot of charging counters. They're both also willing to throw counters from the back corner when they see a good opportunity. Also both able to disguise the way they attack on offense, kind of mixing up who the throws are coming from, using pump fakes to disguise the timing, disguise the direction of the throws. They have multiple players on both sides who are able to throw at targets who aren't necessarily in front of them. And yeah, it should be interesting.
I'm looking forward to this match. This is another one of those, right, we had Australia, Malaysia earlier, right? So I think Malaysia's got the brunt of their games early on, it seems. I know the USA, their schedule kind of gets harder in terms of like last year's rankings. Malaysia's got this brunt up front. So excited to see this match.
Yeah, Australia and Canada on the first day could potentially prove pretty challenging, but I'm sure they're eager to test themselves against the basically the competition again this year.
Absolutely, I would be too. Like, it's always the hard teams that you want to face, right? To test yourself. You've spent the last year training and working and being the best you that you can be. So to get here, like these are the matches you want to play, right? Like you're here to test yourself. You want Saturday to come and yourself to feel confident, knowing what you can and can't do and what to take away from your game and what to add to your game. Yeah.
I agree.
I think it's going to be good too. I think for Malaysia's sake, they're going to learn what they have to strip out early on, right? I think they'll get to refine themselves a lot faster and given an easier schedule, so to speak. Yeah, I'm excited to see this match. Canada, what are the results for Canada so far? I think they lost to.
I don't actually know if the Canadian men's side has lost yet. They faced Argentina earlier today.
Yes.
And they did win that one. I think that's the only other match they've played so far.
Oh, sorry, I know what I'm thinking of. I have been confused, but yes. Canada, yes. And Malaysia won earlier against Australia, right? So this will be, I think Malaysia's ready for this match in that sense. They've got a hard match under their belts. They have that pace set, So looking forward to seeing Canada's defensive style, right? They have a lot of defensive aggression, so to speak, and I want to see how it performs against Malaysia right now. This is going to be very telling going forward about what we can expect from this Canadian team also.
And my favorite thing about the Malaysian men's team when we saw them play earlier was just how they mixed up their timing, made it really difficult to maybe pick up on patterns that they were using in their play, at least from up here. And so, yeah, it's a great way to kind of disguise what's up. All right, well.
We'll repeat that. Okay, we're back. Sorry for the commercial there for a second. Yeah, looking to start the Canadian versus Malaysian match at any moment. Just teams getting warmed up. As we were saying earlier, the Malaysian team looked good against Australia. Just had a lot of different timings and a lot of different ways they were approaching that attack line. They were attacking from defense, they were attacking from the front line, their timings were different, kind of kept Australia guessing, so to speak. I did get to talk to Jaden Watson for a bit, and he wouldn't tell me what they changed, but he was saying, they went into that huddle, just before halftime, made some minor adjustments, and did go into that halftime and said, we're going to change this and this and this. And, they did take those last few games against Malaysia. So I wonder if the Canadian players got to watch that at all, and if they learned anything from it. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what how this match is going to go.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know how many resources the teams have available to kind of scout some of the other matches that might be happening when they're playing, or even when they're not playing, I guess. But we obviously do see some of the players in the stands watching some of the other teams. Like, we've seen the Argentinian teams cheering on their counterparts, I guess, each time so far that they've had a chance to. And I'm sure that there's some amount of the fans and the supporting staff for each of the teams available who can at least watch some of the other teams playing and try and get a rough idea of, like, what should we watch out for that we might not be expecting? What do we need? What might we need to adjust to?
Yeah, I mean, just for an example, the American team has been posted up right next to this main court, like right now, watching this match. Essentially, like this is a big one for them to watch, right? Like they're.
This is a scouting goldmine for them.
Yeah, this is
two of their biggest expected competitors in this match. Almost certainly people they're going to run into in the playoffs, maybe even in the medal matches themselves.
Yeah. And for sure, America's going to see them later in the week. So, those round robin results will pay dividends later.
Yeah, and meanwhile, still see Canada with the sort of structured warm-up, although now some of the players are just kind of strutting around on the sideline.
So, just so the fans at home know, I'm not actively watching the stream chat, but they did set up the scoreboard so that it's easier for us to tell you the results. So, when we get a little break in the action, we'll do our best to, fill you in on the scores of the other courts. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be nice if we can actually provide those results. Again, it sounds like the matches from the other two courts, for various reasons, are going to need to be uploaded after the tournament. So we may not be able to provide the direct footage from them for a little while yet, but we will do our best to keep you up to date as best we can. In fact, if you want to talk about who is going to be playing on those other courts over the next little while, we can let you know that while Canada and Malaysia are playing here on stream, we'll see a men's match between Hong Kong and USA on Court 1, whereas Court 2 is just going to be used for some practice. No scheduled match right now.
Okay. Yeah, we see the USA team and the Hong Kong team on two opposite courts right now.
Yeah, I mean, they both get to use a full court to warm up if they want to.
Yeah.
But Hong Kong will be shifting over to the court that the American team is currently on, I believe.
Okay, that is Court 2. Or Court 1.
I think, yeah. I don't see a big number telling me for sure, but I believe the one that the Americans are on is Court 1 right now.
The courts are named Main Court, Court 1, and Court 2.
Yeah. Court 1 is not the main court.
Yes.
The main court is the main court.
The main court is the... So to say I was a little confused. I'm excited, though. I think we're going to have... I think Hong Kong's been doing very well today. They beat Australia earlier on. So, I mean, I think the USA team has to give them credit and, go into that match taking it very seriously, for sure.
Yeah, the Hong Kong men's and women's teams have often been, like, just outside of that top 4 countries in the last few years, but still, like, they're a threat to win some matches. I think the Hong Kong women last year, was it Canada's women's team they beat? They did have a win that, you could consider an upset based on precedent, but yeah, they're still very capable.
Absolutely. I watched, as part of my research for this, I think I was watching Australia versus Hong Kong last year. That was a super close match. I think it was like 7-6 or something like that. Like, I'll look it up later, but just to show those teams are very close, right? They may not have been in the third, fourth place match, but they're on that cusp, right? Like, we talk about the big four in terms of like consistency, but Hong Kong is up there. Like, you can't be a slouch against them. They know their stuff.
Yeah, and they've had results many times. So one thing that's kind of interesting to note too, you can see on the Team Canada sidelines, the ball retrievers actually have jerseys at this point, making it easy to pick them out in that kind of black and neon green.
What are your thoughts on the new Canadian jerseys?
Well, they were intended to represent that bold as we can motto that the team had adopted for this year. From a far away point of view, they're a little frustrating to read.
Yeah. I do appreciate the pink being added.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting choice. Last year, I think you could say they maybe played it a little more safe jersey-wise. They had kind of a black, white, and gold color scheme. Kind of a classic jersey design, and this year going pretty far in a different direction. Actually, if you want to order a Team Canada jersey, those jersey sales just opened up. You can go to dodgeballcanada.org and look at the online store if you're interested in getting one of those jerseys yourself. There's the men's color, that's the white and pink, and the women's jersey, that's kind of more of a white and purple, but similar motif, the names and numbers of all your favorite players. Who's your favorite Canadian player, Bill?
Mine is Mergler. I would say just watching him play, so much pressure on the court. He's not pump faking you. I feel like there's a difference in some players where they almost have this fake pressure, like this persona of pressure. With Mergler, I feel like he is always actively thinking about like forcing a mistake, and if he sees that opening, he takes it. Right? Some people are just like, I have to do this because it is my job to do this. I feel like his play style is a lot more. I see the opening, I take the opening. His pump fake is very quick. It looks a lot like his throw, which some people don't have. Right, their pump fake looks vastly different than their actual throw. Not with him. So as a corner myself, I enjoy watching him and the pressure that he puts on that court. He owns that corner.
Yeah, Jason Mergler is somebody that I play against in Toronto fairly often, and yeah, his release is so fast sometimes that it strains your ability to react to an incoming throw. So definitely, I would say, I would call that his biggest strength, is recognizing those chances and being able to get a good, accurate throw away to capitalize on them.
Yeah. And then something I watched recently was just this foot shot that Ranican had. Forget exactly what team he was up against, but just on the back line, they had 3 balls. They took a step up, and he just went, "No, this foot is mine," and took the shot, and just the confidence to make that shot and just to blast someone. I was super impressed with that. So there's a lot of like depth on this Canadian team, and so much. They all bring something a little different, right? Like,
yep.
And so I'm excited to see this match. Right? Canada is a team that plays both ways, right? They play defense, they play offense, and they play the defensive transition, right? Like, they don't give up space. They're keeping that pressure. They're keeping that line. Some people just give up that front line, right? Canada doesn't. They make you earn that space, and I'm a big fan of that play style.
Yeah, that's something I feel like I've seen from a lot of the Canadian national players for quite a while now, is trying to just control that space in front of you as much as possible, make it difficult for the other team to work in that space, and you can sometimes force mistakes or at least non-optimal plays out of the other team if you're limiting their options. So I also think Canada's got an edge in terms of catching ability. We don't see the Malaysian players going for catches as much as I'd say like Mexico, Canada, U.S., and Australia. All of those teams just seem to look for the catches a little more aggressively. Malaysia does get some of those reaction catches, but it's not as often that they'll like really just kind of drop their ball and brace themselves for it or anything like that. They're very good at blocking and elusiveness and counterattacking. I think that's where they tend to have the edge against the Canadian side.
Yeah.
So
100%. Malaysia has this kind of snappy feel to them. Like all of a sudden they're going to start doing something. Right? You see a lot of pressure coming from their corners and their ball holders. I forget who was in the middle before that just kind of ran up and then immediately knew when the other team was throwing and avoided essentially 3 balls and got them out of a 1-ball situation clean.
Good dodgeball IQ from a lot of these players.
Yeah, right. Two essentially different styles, but 2 different ways of putting pressure on the court. Canada takes it and keeps it. Malaysia is just trying to rush and grab it from you quickly and surge on you, kind of putting you on that back foot. They play offense from defense more so than from that front line, it seems.
Yeah, their style is almost kind of like a rubber band where they absorb the pressure that comes from the other team, and then they just find the right time to snap forward and just fling that pressure right back in the other team's face. We saw them play very patiently, waiting for their There are moments, and then we saw a few times against Australia when they made one hit. If they saw another chance to make another hit, they just take it. And sometimes, like, boom, 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 3 players, 3 throws.
Yeah.
And suddenly Malaysia's got a big edge. So
I think a play that I see some teams make they'll double team from one side, right? On a 4-ball play, they'll double team from the right side. I feel like you can't do that against a team like Malaysia, who, we talked about, like you said, is a rubber band, right? The second you have that pressure vacuum, they're going to take that space quickly, and you have players that are open, right? I feel like if you're going to double team on a 4-ball play, you have to kind of split it up just to be able to maintain some of that pressure against them.
Oh, and that ball getting away from Waddingham on the rush. Lateral back to him maybe wasn't quite so clean, and he couldn't control it. Rolls over to the Malaysian side. Still though, Canada's throw. That's Snow throwing the ambidextrous threat. Eustace retreating and making a catch.
That was that exact play that we just talked about, and Team Canada told me, no, Bill, watch this.
Yeah.
As he makes that catch.
Yeah, they caught out. I believe that was Wei Sheng with the throw. And you see Eustace when he's backing off, he's moving quickly to try and escape the pressure, but he's not giving up the chance at a catch. So
yeah,
great movement from him.
He set himself up nicely, got back, set himself solid, and just absorbed that ball.
And this time he lets go the throw. But now we see Pyong, I believe, calling the play. Number 8 from Malaysia from the middle. And big shot coming back. Waddingham eliminated.
Same with Mergler.
Yeah. So good exchange for Malaysia, taking out 2 of Canada's threats. The throw is now on them.
There's that 1-ball play we just talked about, forcing, and a
catch!
catch!
Team catch! John Woos bailing out Richard Tom Singh. Waddingham is back in the match. Yeah, we did see that aggressive play where the single ball from Canada, just a really aggressive moment.
Right, we talk about wanting to force the other team to play on your terms, and that's exactly what that play is. They have a ball advantage. They're most likely going to get an out from that. They are such an impressive team. Instead, forcing them to play on your terms, and there's a connection.
Yeah, we saw Robert CK take out John Woo and then get taken out in return. Now that leaves just Ravichandran for Malaysia. I think he's fine. That ball skipped before it got to him. A big throw. One thing I like about Ravichandran's throw is he really throws his body into it sometimes. Yeah. Even that one where he's throwing kind of safe, you just see his whole body get flung forward.
Yeah, that leg is coming up like a pitcher on a fastball. It's just giving it everything.
Yeah, but he's still doing well to stay in a good low defensive stance. Still facing multiple attackers. We see all 3 Canadians throwing. Ravichandran still alive.
Do you have all balls right now? Yeah, he does.
That's a big throw, connecting on Waddingham. Snow avoids that one with a little slide.
Out of the way.
Snow going aggressive. And Ravichandran still coming close, but not quite finding the mark on those last few. And now Jeff Snow and Richard Tom Singh coming up to the line together. They missed that one. And that return shot from Ravichandran going over Tom Singh.
It's been a very fast match, but once everybody can have a blocking ball at all times, it slows down a little bit. There's the connection.
Yeah, Snow's throw finds the mark. Jeff Snow, longtime fixture on this team, often playing the corner. Partly because if he's holding 2 balls, he can throw with either arm and then just take a step and throw with the other arm as well.
I forgot about that. That's so impressive.
It's not a common attribute.
No, not at all.
My throw with my non-dominant hand looks like I'm a very young child who doesn't actually know how to throw at all. So,
do you know how he learned to throw opposite hand?
I think he just has always been a little bit ambidextrous, but let's forget about that for a second. John Woo knocked out, as is Sheng. Wei Sheng Tay.
Yeah, at least it was a 1-for-1 trade, right?
Yeah, I think
that pressure.
I think both teams are at least okay with that.
Yeah.
Neither of these teams solely relies on any specific person. Ooh, but Mergler hit out.
Oh, deflection catch.
Yep. And Eustace's ball caught on the ricochet. That is a good break for Team Malaysia.
So just to clarify terms, you say team catch. Is that a Canadian thing? Where we say deflection catch?
I have no idea. I just think of it as like it's a team effort to make some of those catches. But
okay.
That ball popped up.
Catch!
Oh, Snow has to one-handed.
Yeah, but he did step out of bounds.
Wow. So Snow I mean, that's still a good swing. It brings John Woo back on. The refs team is talking. I think I saw a signal confirming that it is a catch. But let's see what they're talking about.
Looks like they're trying to decide, I think, who it was that got caught.
Right. And I think we see Ravichandran over on the sideline. Gunting receives the news and nods. It's the role of a captain sometimes.
Who's got the ball in Malaysia right now? There's a 5-ball play coming from Canada.
Yeah, it's just Gunting in their left corner. He draws in some balls, and he's able to disrupt the Canadian offensive enough that nobody's lost.
Yeah, he forced out that second ball from Snow, too. Now they have their own 5-ball play. Big connection.
Wow, yeah, that was a big jump. And Cheng, though, hit out as he landed. Nice shot from John Woo.
Yeah, both teams coming out of risky situations, pretty okay.
Yeah, we see a nice shot there from Huang, although it bounces before it finds the target. Robert CK, long time, I think the longest time Team Malaysia member. Holding down.
There's that
Tom
cross
Singh.
court.
Wow, great shot by Gunting.
That throw is crazy. Especially coming from that right corner, right? It's almost a hidden throw. You don't see it until the tail end. His body is blocking his windup. So it's
one of those advantages of being a righty in the right corner.
Yeah, as we were talking about earlier. There goes Snow. Snow falls, as you would say.
I would never say that. John Woo by himself, no stranger to that position. The aggressive attacks, he gets under both of those. Fakes, drives them back, controls the space, eludes that shot from Pyong, who looks kind of annoyed at himself for not managing to connect.
I am so impressed with his movements, though. Even his dodges don't leave himself vulnerable, right? He's not overcommitting to any one movement. He's keeping himself fairly...
Yeah, we see that pressure absorbed by Robert CK. Oh! So, I'm not sure if that'll be a disarm, but he did. So Mergler came in on the catch. Wu tracked down the ball that popped up off his blocker. He's looking pleased with himself. I wasn't sure if his first ball actually got knocked out of his hand, but
yeah.
I think Wu's been doing this long enough that if it was a disarm, I think he would have stepped off by now, but the refs are still going to confer to make sure they agree on what happened. And they are calling over members of both teams. So they wave away Coach Vic, or he elects to take a seat. Mergler and Gunting talking to the referees.
Looks like a game of charades. And I'm terrible at charades.
They are gesturing catch. Oh, we see a nice little handshake. Carlos Benjamin Gunting heading back to his team to share the news.
Okay, I guess he did throw it away. Cool. I think, as you said, right, he is a veteran enough that, he knows what he did. And which is a weird way to say that.
Yeah.
But he knows what he did. How dare he be so good? It's frustrating. Yeah, good work by him. Staying in there.
For sure. Now we see the Canadian side with the extra ball. They're going to have to take their shots. Mergler with that quick release heading toward Huang.
Touching that knee pad, as Mergler does.
And we just got confirmation from the sideline. It was not a disarm, the John Woo ball. So kind of figured, given that he wasn't asked to leave the court. So. Wow,
big
just tagging
shot.
the foot. Great placement, hitting Jason Mergler off the court. Now it's back to just one, John Woo. He's dealing with pressure from Huang and Gunting, and I think they got him.
Yeah.
Not the solid hit, but those grazes still count just the same.
Yeah, and that Malaysian side with their thunderous cheer every time they make contact. It's something else.
Yeah, and so we see that it is now 1-1. Exactly 6 minutes elapsed in the first half.
Yeah. We are 1 second out of sync.
Yeah. And a good
job.
block by Zanke. Nathaniel Zanke getting that blocking ball in front of the offensive from Team Malaysia.
Malaysia is so good at that quick toss play. Right, I would say they're probably the best at it. And
Yeah.
like to come out of that defensively and be okay is super impressive by the Canadian side.
And we see a big shot attempted by Gunting, but no success there. Wu Sheng-te holding down the right corner for Malaysia. And we see that aggressive pressure. Snow knocked out. And yeah, one loss for Malaysia as well, as Sheng takes a seat.
Shen, okay.
And Esther Brooks skims that one a little bit shy. Hustis gets under the return shot from Gunting.
Gunting's, that sidearm throw from Gunting, once again, it looked like it caught him a little bit off guard there.
Yeah, now Hustis pays a price.
Yeah.
He was caught up a little higher than the rest of his team. John Wu taking over the corner on the left side for Canada.
Good job by Malaysia forcing that opening.
And I think that was, just the ball slipping maybe?
Yeah, that was definitely very, I meant to pump fake and just kind of slip motion. It is getting a little bit more humid in here, so maybe that has something to do with it, but he knows what he did.
Yeah, he does. He knows. Good or bad, he knows what he did. Esther Brooks, who has one of the hardest throws. I don't know if it's the hardest one on Team Canada this year, but his throw's fierce, and he's got a few different variety of throws he can use. Mergler hit out.
Gets to the blocker.
Yeah, and Malaysia's still 5 strong. And that shot toward Huang finds him. We see a couple of back and forth. Gunting knocked out as well. Big shot from Ravichandran. But after all of that little exchange is said and done, it's now 3-3, Canada getting 2 hits.
I'm really impressed with this Canadian footwork right now. They're playing that ground game very strong and staying alive, not taking anything.
Wow.
Nice shot by Wu.
That hit like the back foot of Pyong. How do you even defend against that?
I don't know.
And now on the next exchange, we see some good blocks made.
That's one of those shots that back foot takes its plant, and I guess you just take.
Robert CK there hitting Zanke out off the blocking ball. With the old blocking ball into the head. 2-on-2. Zanke and Ravichandran, they are attacking.
Oh, tries the push pass.
Yeah, you know you're in a tough spot if you have to try that push pass.
Yeah. It's fairly risky too. Ooh, timeout.
Timeout Canada. Maybe because John Wu is once again by himself.
Yeah.
This may be talking about the approach to play the 1-on-2. Maybe Coach Vic sees something that he wants to suggest or ask John how he's going to approach it. At the same time, maybe John could just use a little bit of a breather because, again, he's been that, in terms of seconds on the court, minutes on the court, I think he's probably leading Team Canada right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially after starting that, I guess, quote-unquote 4-on-1 comeback, right? You know, reducing the gap. I mean, we couldn't close it out, but coming up with that not a disarm into a catch.
Yeah, quite a play.
There's got to be a better way to say that. You threw the ball away to make the catch.
Yeah.
I guess is the better way to say that.
Yeah, if it's clear that the player with full control discarded one of the balls that they're holding, that can never be a disarm. So.
Yeah.
And now we see Robert CK and Harigaran Ravichandran coming up. Wu goes offensive.
Think about it, every throw is technically a disarm, but
I mean, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah. Just kind of on your own.
Wow, Wu with
job.
some good blocking, getting real low.
Ooh,
Finds
nice
Robert
shot.
CK. 1-on-1. This appears to be John Wu's territory, left alone on the court. Harigaran Ravichandran missing, getting low under that shot, taking a return shot on Wu, who gets low himself.
Yeah, he knew he had that second ball nearby to fall back to defensively, and good job with that one-step throw.
I'll be surprised if either player is willing to go down to no balls. Oh,
yeah!
Wow! John Wu fired up as he converts another one.
He likes that flex to the camera. He knows what he did.
He's an intense guy on the court, but also a cheerful one.
Yeah. Those are the guys I like to see, right?
Yeah.
I want to see people wear their emotion on their sleeve, like in that regard, right? You know, show your excitement. And
Yeah, so Canada with a 2-1 edge. 10-12 remaining in the first half. Quick update from the far court. It looks like Team USA is up 3-0 on Team Hong Kong in the men's division.
Yeah, right now they're nice move there on the far court. Sorry, I'm not going to watch that one.
Yeah, pay attention.
Yeah, it was another like push-up dodge essentially, and that just kind of glamorous to watch.
Snow's throw missing, and then a return shot toward Mergler.
Yeah, Mergler adjusting the knee pad.
Yeah, you want those knee pads to stay in place. And we see a couple of Malaysian players clearing the ball. Huang takes a return shot. I believe that cheering is because Hong Kong just scored their first point in the match.
Yeah. 3-1. USA versus Hong Kong.
And we see an offensive toward Robert CK, but he stays alive. And now Malaysia with 4 balls.
Okay, new rule for the Dodgeball World Championships drinking game. Every time Wu is last in, take a shot.
And we saw Zanke there taking over the ball from Mergler. Zanke playing 1 in from the corner. So I know we've mentioned it before, but sometimes teams will give that inside player. Wow, big grab. Snow catching Ravichandran.
Yeah. On the back foot, too. Good work getting those feet planted and just getting it right in the pocket.
Yeah, and then they connect with Huang as well.
He's taking himself out of the corner.
Yeah, he likes playing the middle sometimes. He's still moving around. Estabrook's tagged out. Snow hit as well. And yeah, we're seeing now it's a 4-on-4. Malaysia with a couple of quick strikes.
That ball out in no man's land is kind of hurting Canadian side right now.
Yeah, Malaysia's going to throw one, I think. Wow, tags Wu. Big dodge from Zanke as well. Canada's going to need to use the balls they have in hand now to try and retrieve that one. Zanke does so, covers a little bit for Tom Singh, throwing. You see a little bit of a scramble. Ooh, that ball rolls away from Zanke. He tries to attack, big dodge. And is that a catch?
What? Yes! That was definitely a catch.
Zanke moving around incredibly well. And surviving. Wow, now on the counters, they find Wei Sheng Te.
Wow. What a move. Being way out exposed there, trying to hit the Malaysian corner who was a bit far up. I think it was the corner who was up. And just getting out of that situation and coming up with that catch.
And now we see a couple of shots invested toward Robert CK, and they find him.
Yeah, Robert CK just kind of skimming the back, it seems.
Yeah, he's been pretty tough to hit. And Pyong with a big shot toward Mergler. Gunting as well. They really staggered that timing, waiting till Mergler's maybe trying to get up from a dodge.
Yeah, but good job. Like once again, we talk about you don't want to be vulnerable after your first move, and Mergler just knows how to move. Connection on that far side.
Pyong knocked out, but Gunting chucking one toward Mergler and finding, I think, that leg again. Jason Mergler, a long and lanky guy, so sometimes Zanke off balance throw, and I think
nice moves. Oh, it does get him though. Seems like he's saying it skimmed his jersey.
Gunting really close to the center line as well. He's gonna have to be careful. Now Richard Tom Singh, the last remaining Canadian. That shot going a little low, Gunting advancing. Thompson gets down into the blocking position.
Nice shot.
Nice shot onto the foot. And Gunting pretty pleased with himself, as are his teammates. Timeout called by Malaysia, too.
6 minutes left on the clock. 2-2.
Yeah, so far this match certainly has not disappointed. We expected a bit of a slugfest. And yeah, looking over, I can't quite see the score from the USA-Hong Kong game, but we saw...
Still looks like 3-1 or so. I see a 1. Just there's a head in the way.
Yeah, we knew Hong Kong got that big point. They were super excited. And yes, I believe it's still 3-1 over there. Oh, man, I'm going to need to up my prescription if I want to be able to reliably read those scoreboards.
Yeah, that's at least 5 feet away.
So knowing that Malaysia called this timeout, what do you think they're talking about in the huddle?
I don't know. I thought it was a weird timeout, actually, right? They just come off a win. They're making an adjustment. But I think kind of like Australia did earlier, right? That the 6-minute mark is kind of a good place to call a timeout for a team that wants to make an adjustment. You kind of get like 1 or 2 games out of it, right? And you get to make those minor adjustments going into the half. But I think it benefited Canada as well, who was on the back foot there. So, you know, you get 2 timeouts. Yeah, I'm wondering what both teams talked about, you know? You get 90 seconds.
And Sheng collecting John Woo's number there. It's hard when you're up that close to get a good block or a good dodge off against a good throw. So Sheng benefiting from a really quick opening rush by Malaysia.
Malaysia's so good at that opening rush. I got to say, like, if you want to get good at that opening rush, you watch Malaysia. Nice
2
job.
quick hits. We see Robert CK exiting right on the heels of Hangwei Low.
Who took that first shot? I know Mergler took the second on the counter, but who took the first one from the Canadian side?
Beats me. Ravichandran holding that ball. Can't quite draw in a shot at him, but wow. We see a couple of close calls again. Malaysia down to 3 players.
Yeah.
Canada still 5 strong. Hustis leading the charge. It's Snow who throws and misses the mark.
Okay, 4 balls to the side of Malaysia. Things are going to start to slow down now on this Malaysian side. They're so good at blocking and just, you know, staying alive.
And
interesting to see.
In the back and forth, we see Huang thrown at and throwing, but Malaysia loses 1 teammate as, is that Huang, I think, exiting the court?
Also, commentators curse the second that we said anything about Malaysia staying alive, they lose a player. So.
Oh yeah, we'll try not to use this power for evil.
Yeah.
Ravichandran coming up. That's a big throw. Oh, that was Huang still in it. Looking to attack. Yep. Big shot removing Waddingham from the court. Snow holding the other team at bay with a bit of movement, but yeah, good elusiveness shown by the Canadians there.
I think the Americans just want a match on the other side. Yeah. I hear cowbell.
Yeah, and I think they find Huang that time.
Yeah,
and
I think
it's just Ravichandran. Wow.
This Canadian team.
Estabrooks has to go low. Hustis charging, kicking that ball way up in the air. Hustis maybe a little more aggressive than he needed to be, but then Estabrooks finishes it off.
Good job closing it out. Number 6 is Snow.
That is
right?
Jeff Snow for Canada. Yeah, number 6.
Yeah, I think he accidentally stepped out of bounds during that. So, not to call him out, but I'm glad they, closed out that game there. You know, he doesn't want to be wondering what if it comes down to a point.
Yeah, that never feels good.
No, you play this format so much. Taking that step out doesn't feel good at all. I know, I do it all the time.
And off the rush, neither team getting an out. Canada leading 3-2 now after the Malaysia timeout.
Yeah, once again we see the Canadians keeping that pressure, right? It buys them. We talked about it before. The teams that just go right to the back line, they don't have that ability to dodge backwards, right? The Team Canada is buying themselves a whole dimension of movement to dodge.
Yeah, and we just saw Wu and Gunting hit out in a 1-for-1 exchange. Canada again, 4 balls coming up, and we see a couple of throws connecting, knocking Sheng out of the play.
Tap, tap.
So we see those accurate throws from Canada coming up again, and Zanke and Snow. Snow has actually hit on the return. He misses his shot and then is made to pay for it. I believe that was Pyong on the connection.
Yeah, that was.
A couple of throws invested at different targets. One to Mergler, one to Hustis. But so far, Team Canada still with 4.
Yeah, 4 on each side.
Oh, and they connect. Hangwei Low exiting. Canada still with 4.
Good job by Canada getting him to jump.
Yeah.
Right, the second you jump, you can't double jump. You're not Crash Bandicoot.
And I think Canada maybe not as I would say Malaysia a little more deceptive than Canada, but Canada also doing it. Robert CK gets knocked out, and Pyong, great aggressive defense throws from the Canadian side.
We were talking about this earlier. That timeout, at that 6-minute mark is so big in terms of the value it gives. And Malaysia calling it after a win, I think, might have been more beneficial to Canada, but it's anecdotal at this point. We won't know for sure.
Yeah, we see David Huang eliminating a couple of players. Zanke before and Hustis just now. Canada still with Mergler and Kalen Estabrooks. And the aforementioned Canadians coming to the line. They reset after Huang takes the shot.
Once again, if any ball is thrown over that center line, the count resets. Doesn't matter if you have the burden on you or not.
Huang with a really holds the ball really high when he's making the fake. Ooh.
Another one forced to the jump, and Mergler connects with the chest on the way down.
Yeah, you see the advantage of that staggered timing sometimes. If that first throw or pump fake or whatever can get a player to move pretty hard, then on that follow-up, you may very well be able to nail them. If that second thrower is accurate, just catch the opponent when they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Canada out to a 4-2 lead with, I believe that's a minute 51 remaining.
Okay, let's see. Ooh, a little bit of a fumble on the rush by Malaysia there, not able to get that initial shot off.
Yeah.
It's usually where they start their tempo, so.
Yeah, so no harm, but just a lost opportunity perhaps.
Yeah.
Wu's throw missing. Hustis eludes the counter.
Play like that usually kind of sticks in your head a little bit, but these guys are so good. I wouldn't be surprised, just being able to get rid of that from your thought process very quickly and just move on, right? It takes a lot to persevere through situations like that.
Hustis caught up high and gets knocked out, so does Simonite and Estabrooks. And Wu knocked out. Jeff Snow eludes a ball.
Ooh, Mergler wanted those feet.
Yeah, Canada 3 balls in hand still, but 5 opponents on the side of Malaysia. Sheng coming up, let's go. Misses Zanke high. Canada now still gonna have to be wary. And nothing doing.
Blocking the connection, good work by Snow there.
Yeah, Snow covering his teammate. And you can see Robert CK a little disappointed that he got tagged. Maybe he wanted to take that shot before he decided to hold up, seeing the potential toss from Snow coming. See a couple balls going towards Snow, he eludes them.
Yeah, good job by Snow. Once again, I think that it was that one ball play, so staying alive was good work for them.
And we see the Canadian side this time cheering as they connect.
Yeah, right on the back.
And this time Low exiting. Mergler threatening. But we see the shot from Gunting coming over toward Jeff Snow.
Okay, 3-ball play here for the Canadian side.
And there we see Gunting head out. Both players are kind of pointing a little bit about what happened. I think both sidelines are saying, hey, chill, talk to the refs if you need to.
Yeah, Malaysia got a warning earlier for pointing, didn't they? So.
Yeah, I think that was in the earlier match we saw. And like we said at that point, after there was a warning received from the referees, we didn't see anything else from either team, I think, that drew a warning. So
yeah,
the warning's doing their job sometimes. Maybe just a reminder needed here and there when things get heated.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally down to 0 seconds right now.
True.
So,
but it does matter who's alive for sudden death, obviously.
Oh, 100%. I think it's a matter of, this wasn't early in the match that the finger pointing started, right? This is a late in the match thing. Probably just confusion more so than anything else. Sometimes everyone's got a different perspective on the play depending on where they're standing on the court. These balls move so fast. You think you see everything perfectly, but you watch the video again later and you're like, oh, that isn't anything like what I saw.
And Zanke back on the court. Gunting coming back to talk to his teammate. He's still alive. And so we'll see Gunting and Wang Kang Ing trying to pull things back from a 2-player to 3 deficit as we now hit sudden death. Canada leading 4-2. No blocking allowed. The ball is essentially an extension of your body at this point.
Once again, this is the first half. So stay tuned. There's going to be about a 5-minute break between this.
Yeah, those first throws missing the mark, so it's still 3-on-2. Malaysia now on offense. We see an attempt to drop those balls, maybe give himself a chance to catch if Eng was in position based on the incoming shot. Zanke holding the only one. Makes a catch! Squares up and snares it.
4-on-1.
Now it's just up to Gunting. Well, that was a quick ending. Without, Jeff Snow, he's willing to take those shots.
Yeah. Curveball right to the chest.
And Canada with a 5-2 lead over their, I think it's fair to say, rivals at this point.
Yeah.
Team
absolutely.
Malaysia.
I would certainly say so.
I mean, these points, again, they're pretty close between these teams, so that 3-point lead looks good now, but, I mean, Canada's still going to have to work pretty hard to maintain it.
Yeah, I mean, we had 7 games in this first half, right? So 3 points is less than half the time of this match so far. It's very possible for Malaysia to come back, especially being the team they are, right? I think we'll see adjustments from both sides on the half. Probably more so for Malaysia now. I think this half is going to be good for them, where that 6-minute timeout seemed to be advantageous for Canada. I think the half will be good for Malaysia.
Incidentally, on the far court, I just saw Andrew Ketchum make a catch as he was rolling backward. First shot hit him as he kind of lost his balance going backwards, and he still tracked it down while he rolled. So good job, Andrew.
Can you see the score on that far side?
Nope, I cannot. So, in the meantime, I think both teams are going to talk a little bit about how that first half went. If there's any major stuff that they want to adjust, the coaching staff has uninterrupted time to talk about how things are going. I think even for Canada, having closed out 5 of the 7 points, they still may be looking for opportunities to clean up some of their play. Personally, I'd say they've had a few times where some of their players pretty aggressively getting stuck up close to the line between the center line and the clear line makes them easier targets, and Malaysia closing the gap very quickly and able to take those shots. So there may be some conversations about how to give up fewer of those opportunities. Bill, what do you have to say?
Yeah, so we just got a report in. So essentially that's the end of...
Okay, yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah. We got a report in that that last play when there was the finger pointing and all that. Essentially, what happened was the time ran out. The whistle was late by the ref. So they were just explaining that's our bad as refs, but we're canceling that last play. Like, time ran out at this point. We're canceling this play, essentially. And so that was the coming together there. Yeah.
All right, we appreciate that. Dodgeball Canada Vice President Alex Svetlovsky running up here to give us some information sometimes.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, and just for clarification also, because I know I had this question, I'm sure people at home do. We talked about the warnings that players get during the match. It's not until a warning becomes a penalty, so the second time you do something when it becomes a penalty, that things start accruing. So your warnings are dropped between every match. Your match penalties will carry over until playoffs. So that's how that works.
Yeah, and obviously you don't want to accumulate match penalties, similar to yellow cards and red cards in soccer or football for the discerning international fan.
Yeah.
If you accumulate enough penalties, that can certainly cause you to be forced to sit out sets, matches, and even the tournament in the most drastic cases. So
Yeah.
we have not seen that be necessary, but it is a tool available to the officials if necessary.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get started now with this second half.
And both teams pretty quick off the rush this time. Neither team electing to take a big shot, but Canada is going to have to throw first.
Just an update on U.S. Hong Kong. It looks to be 6-1 in that second half. USA over Hong Kong.
And we see the shot from Huang missing. Canada still 6 strong. That was
playing a little bit slow on that return. They're not countering as much. Good pressure though to get that line.
Yeah, Waddingham eliminating Sheng, and now Canada back up on offense. Hustis takes that shot. Close calls.
Sorry. So it always sucks to see someone trip over someone else. You get a little concerned, right? You're making these very athletic dodges, and you think you know where your body's going to land. You get twisted up in someone, and it hurts. You can get hurt easily that way, and I always hate to see it.
And we saw Mergler and Huang exchanged in the last exchange. I'm just going to call it that.
A lot of pressure. Okay, 3 balls to the side of Malaysia. I think they're going to want to keep this for a while. Look for Malaysia to throw probably only solos unless some kind of pressure comes out. Ooh, connects.
Wow, that's a big shot, finding the mark onto Ng, but I don't think he expected the throw to come from where it did.
Yeah, holding his ear a little bit. Okay, I think that was okay. We got the one.
Tom Singh tried to draw something in. Wow.
Team catch.
Oh, Hustis very aggressive.
Yeah, kept Snow alive though in turn.
And Snow now the only one alive. Facing down against Simonite and Sheng. And Snow calls himself out.
Okay.
All right, so Malaysia starting the first half strong with the set going their way.
Yeah.
They're only down 5-3 now.
Looks like they adjusted, maybe playing a little bit slower, or yeah, I'm not really sure what they adjusted so far, but coming out with that win.
And they're off. Sheng again finds Waddingham this time. Great spot right on the knee.
Good job. Like, these players throw so fast that even though he's not really pump faking and following through, it's enough of an arm motion, especially when you know it's coming, right? That fear of that initial rush play, that they have to force a movement that they're kind of blind to as they turn around from that initial rush.
We saw a big cross court from Mergler earlier, taking out Sheng, and now as well, number 4 Simonite is taken out, and this time the throw is from Estabrooks, but missing.
Okay, 4-ball play here coming from Malaysia.
Yeah, everybody up on the plan. And they use a lot of the clock. Yeah, Hustis getting low under that ball thrown by Huang.
Yeah, doing a good job of going from a jump to a full layout. Ooh, gets under that blocking ball.
Yeah, Hustis taken out. Not looking pleased with himself at the moment.
That whistle is for the other court, not our court.
We see Tom Singh hit out on the exchange with Robert CK, and yeah, you can see also Huang stepped out on the back line. His captain pointing out, hey, sorry, you hit the line. He looks exasperated, but right thing to do from the Team Malaysia sideline. We always appreciate that kind of integrity. Now Team Canada with Mergler, Estabrooks, and Snow. They find Gunting.
Okay. Get that toe tap, it looked like. Ooh,
and Snow. Yeah, Snow not able to block as cleanly as he would have liked.
Esterbrook, right?
Yeah, that is him, number 19, newcomer to the team.
Oh, okay. I'm getting names. I'm learning. Do not have that doc yet. Doing my best.
Wang Kanting, the lone player remaining for Malaysia, keeps that third ball up high at the line. Sends it over Mergler. Mergler this time electing to jump.
He's towing that line. If he had his heel down, he would have been out of bounds. So. Good on him, like really towing that positioning.
Yeah, pretty good awareness overall. Very few side and backline violations. Oh, great shot by Estabrooks.
Nice job.
I know I couldn't see if that throw curved, but Estabrooks can put some pretty nasty spin on the ball, so may have been deceptive and tough to read coming in. Hard to block with a lot of spin on them too.
Yeah, it definitely looked like he put a lot of spin on it and just misread where that ball was going to end up. Got his arm instead of the blocking ball.
So Canada back to their scoring ways. They are now up 6-3 with, I think, 15 minutes and change remaining in the half. And we have a false start, and that was on Malaysia. You see the referee indicating that's one. Everybody gets one.
And a half.
Per half, yes. Every half gets one.
So you get two. Kind of.
And this time, no false starts. Tom Singh doesn't take the shot, just a big fake.
Okay. 6-3, Canada over Malaysia. Just under 15 minutes left in this half. Second half.
Yeah, I mean, we can say this about a few matches, but this is a possible gold medal preview. So
Yeah, 100%. I'm really excited to see this Canadian team do as well as they are, especially against the gold medal holders right now, right? The defending champions Malaysia, who have a three-peat right now. So this is exciting to see. I think this year is going to be a pretty close one. I don't think you could really tell who's going to make the finals yet or who's going to go deep. I think it's all going to depending on bracket, and I think there's a lot of contenders for the title this year, though.
This is only the first full day of competition as Estabrooks is hit out, and
nice
team catch.
Job, great awareness, and another one.
Yeah, we said at one point that Malaysia not known as a catching squad, but proving me a bit of a liar with that last exchange. Tom's thing misses high, and on the retreat he is tagged and leaving just Jason Mergler, longtime Team Canada fixture.
See what he can do here.
Well, kind of a filthy throw that gets two. Young and Ang knocked out. Mergler's going to need a couple more of those. And
two. Yes, please. What a shot.
Yeah.
And he takes us out.
He did get tagged on the elbow there. So yeah, well played by Malaysia. Didn't let that 2-for-1 special throw them off.
Yeah. Okay, 6-4, Canada over Malaysia. Just about 13 minutes left.
And I think we heard a big cheer earlier as Hong Kong got their second point against Team USA over on the far court. So love the enthusiasm.
Yeah. I'm loving all the, almost like the self-support these teams have, right? People aren't just sitting on the bench, they're rooting for their teams, and it's great to see that. I love hearing a match with excitement. I'm excited to see the fans, right? Even if that is your own team, like, they're still fans of the sport.
So when you play, do you find you're more of a emotional, energetic, hypey kind of player, or more stoic? How do you find yourself?
I am definitely wearing my emotions on my sleeve kind of player, but I'm the kind of person that cheers for someone making a good play against me. I just want to see like good plays. I love this sport. Like it's I don't even know how to put it into words. Like it's such a fun sport to watch. It is so action-packed. There's so many different styles to it. No one has it figured out, right? We're watching Canada versus Malaysia, and they have two very different philosophies on how to approach this game.
And those approaches have evolved over the years that they've been playing against each other too. So
yeah, right. And then you have players like Wu, right, who at the end are super hyped and show their emotion. Other players are very like calm and collected, and there is no right way, right? I don't think you could say one way is better than the other. It's all.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. What about you? How do you play?
Oh, I'm stoic. I've taken my notes from previous Team Canada women's captain Jen Ritchie, who also she's an unflappable player. I like to model my game mentality after her. As we see Canada trying to get back to the points, Malaysia trying to build a bit of momentum and get a point streak going.
Yeah.
They still have about 13 minutes to try and close this gap and tie things up with Canada. And we see a great shot, that one from Estabrooks, taking out Eng on the far side.
Okay, nice dodge. A little bit more on the stoic thing. Like, how about internally? Like, are you stoic on the inside?
Oh yeah. Mostly what I'm thinking is, I don't like this other person, just long enough to really throw really hard at them. But we see Hustis tagged out. And that shot going toward Estabrooks. The way I've seen it put before is like, you want to act like, yeah, I did this, and I'm going to do it again the next time after you've made a really big play. So
yeah.
Snow throwing a bit of a curve. Estabrooks trying to get rid of his ball while he was still alive, but I think they're talking about whether that's worth a warning if it was clear that Estabrooks was out.
I think it's this is part of the, I wouldn't say oddity of the rule, but it's hard to tell if a ball becomes uncatchable, right? a ball is considered dead. So even though that ball didn't die, quote unquote, it was still up in the air. So like for a very long time. So that throw may not have been worth a warning. But was it a ball that was considered out of play enough that the counter shouldn't have counted, right? Like it was an unplayable ball, so to speak.
And I think the signal I saw from the referee was no big deal, as the official call there.
Yeah. I think that's a good call, right? You see the ball pop up in the air, you're not going to follow it. You're in the moment, you're trying to make the play. I think that's a good call by the refs.
But either way, Estabrooks is out on the side, and we see Wu, Ranikan, and Snow all playing out of the Toronto area.
Okay, 4 balls for the side of Canada. 2 open, 2 non-blocking targets. Ooh, and they go for the blocker and get it.
Yeah, Ranikan has been used sparingly in this match, but I mean he's got a cannon. He can curve it, he can aim it, he can time it.
That's another one of those. We were talking about this earlier, right? When I was talking about Ranikan, the confidence to make those backline throws, and there he is. He connected again. He saw a moment, he took the opportunity and recognized the play. And
Snow hit out as well. Ranikan does love those curveballs, the drop shots, and sometimes the sliders that just try to get around your blocking ball. And wow, 2 shots,
nice.
Beautifully timed. Ranikan backing his opponent away. I believe that's Ravichandran. Canada on the offensive now. 2 balls coming in. Blocked cleanly. Wu blocking as well. The return shot from Ranikan blocked as well. Ravichandran staying alive expertly.
Yeah, that ball from Ranikan was just almost skimmed his back. Like, I'm not saying that hit him at all. Like, it definitely went over him, but it was so close. Like, he had that right. That play was perfect.
Yeah, and you can see Ravichandran doing a great job getting into the blocking position and taking Wu out point blank.
Gets the chest of Wu in kind of an awkward angle, too.
1-on-1. Let's see how they choose to play it. Ranikan happy to throw, happy to look for catches. He just comes up really confident, goes for a block. Back and forth. Ranikan
gets him.
Now both players were hit.
Canada wins.
The refs are talking about it. Both sidelines reacting strongly.
I think that's a win for Canada. I think the ball that hit Ranikan popped up in the air was still live.
If there's drama, I'm going to jump back on this.
Yeah,
Is there drama?
Jake Mason wants to see this.
So what are you guys saying? Who is it? It's not who it hit first, it's what ball dies first, correct?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, I think the side of Canada won that one.
Yeah, Bill was saying it looked to him like the ball that hit Ranikan popped up, whereas the ball that hit Ravichandran hit the ground.
Yeah, it went shin to ground.
And it's correct. That is the call.
Go Bill. I know what they did.
Are you supposed to call your own number that way? But either way.
I did what I did.
Well, that wasn't as much drama as I would have liked.
Oh, sorry, Jake.
Canada has really found their groove in this match. So I was watching downstairs.
I'm really impressed with them right now.
They're killing it. Yeah, and you can tell Malaysia is not happy, especially after that last call. Yeah, again, I guess it's like 4 a.m. or something in Malaysia right now. So they were gonna send me some stuff later. We're again at World Dodgeball Federation, so we can answer your questions and give some more Malaysian love.
We saw a great shot onto Wu, just kind of grazing what looked like his ankle. And a shot toward Waddingham missing.
Yeah, this is
Timeout called by Canada. Kind of as we said before, it's interesting when I feel like we're most used to seeing the timeouts used by the team that doesn't have the momentum to try and kind of put a stop to the other team's progress, their kind of hype, all those emotions. They just try to settle things down and give themselves back to even footing.
Yeah, and Canada called this timeout, right? So,
They did.
So in this case, I'm gotta wonder. They have a 3-game lead, right? I'm wondering if they're reaffirming, killing the clock is part of this, right? You don't want to rush and overextend and be too aggressive and potentially kill that lead, right? You still want to play solid, but knowing that you can play a little bit more reserved and still put the team ahead, right? You can't be thinking about the game. You got to be thinking about the match first and foremost.
And I think that would be my guess as well. If we were going to guess what the Canadian team was talking about, it was like, hey, we're up. There's 10.5 minutes to go. We can't take our foot off the gas, but we also don't have to take maybe overly aggressive chances. So
Yeah.
it's Malaysia's throw. Canada trying to make them earn that line. And that it was just that shot from, I think that was Gunting, just missing Estabrooks.
There's a connection. I think it was an interesting time to call that timeout, too. It was essentially right after the rush. So
Yep.
I'm almost wondering why that moment, but I get it.
They are really letting Cameron Ranican throw now that he's in this match, and he's been connecting. I don't track accuracy stats, but if I did, I'm pretty sure they'd be pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying before, he's confident with his throw in a way that, his abilities deserve, right? Like he takes the shots that he thinks he can hit, and most of the time he's right. Ooh, that had a thump to it.
Yeah, Estabrooks couldn't get his hands up to his chest in time to trap that ball, and it sounded like it came in real hard.
Canada putting a lot of good pressure. Good job getting out of the way.
Just look at how quick Eustis moves on Canada's left side without even looking like he's trying that hard sometimes.
Is that a count? Yep, connects on the counter. Malaysia with the 5-3 advantage right now. Once again, we were talking about how Malaysia likes to play from that back line, right? Good work there.
You see 3 balls spent by Team Canada, so Eustis with currently the only one in hand for Canada. Malaysia 1 ball per player.
I think that was good work there too. Yep, and there we see the that 1 ball play again, right?
Yeah, we've seen Canada more often than not electing to throw from that position. And I mean, they do tend to get a 1-for-1, but again, on this particular case, they're down. Ranican electing to throw. I think he is confident enough as a catcher that he is willing to take that shot, although Mergler saying, take the ball? No. Mergler, though, yeah. I don't know if he was hit, but he did find the back line.
Yeah. I think it's interesting also for that 1 ball play. You know, if you're going to trade 1-for-1, you also get to choose who they take on that 1-to-1, right? You're not giving them Mergler, you're not giving Ranican. You're saying, okay, this is who you get.
Ranican showing some good movement out there.
Oh, absolutely.
And we see those big throws from him. He's looking for the catch this time. Oh, I can't find it.
Both of them right in the pocket too. He's a little frustrated because he knew he could have made those catches, but too much pepper on the throw. Right? Just hit. He was a little bit turned to the side, wasn't kind of deflected off. And, yeah, about 8 minutes left in this second half. The score is going to be 7-5, Canada over Malaysia. Still, Malaysia can come back from this.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about the fact that generally it's easiest to make those catches if you're squared up to the ball. I think you're right. Ranican not quite square to the shots as they came in.
Yeah.
And Mergler eluding that throw. Gunting not quite finding the mark. And Canada with the extra ball to start this. And both times when the team with the edge calls the timeout, we see the other team come back and actually take the first point.
Yeah.
Wow, some nice athletic dodging there. I believe that was Pyong in the far corner.
This is good for Malaysia too. This gives them the chance to take shots and ooh, nice connection. Gets Ranican as well.
3 connections. Yeah. We see Estabrooks, Ranican, and Mergler. One thing I like that Mergler did there was that ball, I don't know if he thought he could get to it. It looked like it was a little far out of his reach by the time he started moving, but he did draw in another ball from Malaysia. Snow hit out as well.
Yeah, this is something I've been thinking a lot about, is that catches are great, but I feel like the most efficient catches in terms of what they provide are the catches that pop up in the air and then are caught, because they usually draw another ball or two, right? I don't think enough teams talk about, hey, a ball went up in the air, this is the player that should counter if that happens, right? Usually you see panic and you'll have 2 people throw, right? So you kind of get this ball majority as well as a potential catch, even if the situation doesn't necessarily call that much dedication to that catch.
Gunting baited both balls out of Eustis, but did not quite connect. But meanwhile, Zanke was knocked out on the other side, and now this is going to be tough. Eustis electing to play defensive. Now he comes on the counterattack. And yeah, we see the shot from Pyong on the other side taking Eustis out. And Malaysia gets their second straight set.
Yeah, Malaysia's closing the gap to 1 game now.
And with about 6.5 minutes remaining, this is anyone's game.
Absolutely. Malaysia's got to start off the rush again. They're going to be the first to throw. We saw them try the running jump throw. We saw it once, didn't connect, and I don't think they've used it since. But let's see if. Oh, okay.
Both teams opting to play it a little more safely this time. Canada making Malaysia earn the line. And Canada gets the ball without a casualty for their efforts.
Yeah. Good work. Looks like Ranican got taken off on the side of Canada.
Yeah, he's swapped out, and we're back to having Tom Singh, Eustace, Snow, Waddingham, Estabrooks, and Wu. We see a big shot from Ravichandran missing down the middle. And
nice dodge. Ooh, trying to go for that cross court. I'm a fan of that play. That's one of those throws that you're on the back foot, right? You're backing up. You typically, as that righty in the right corner, you have your back to the play. That was a good shot. He didn't connect, but that would be a value hit if he did get it.
And I saw one ball returned by the refs to the side of Malaysia. They may have stopped play a little bit earlier. Snow is the designated person they're talking to right now, and Gunting as well. We're still looking at 6-on-6. Both teams all the way back at the back line, as you have to be when play restarts after a stoppage.
Looks like just about under 6 minutes remaining. Malaysia looking to take this game and tie it up. Canada looking to put some insurance on their lead right now.
Estabrooks with the throw. He finds Ravichandran.
Malaysia in defensive stance. Canada have to throw again. Once again, you have 10 seconds to throw that ball. If you have more players, you have to throw. And if both teams have the same number of players and balls, the team that threw last does not have to throw again. Connection there.
Wu hit out. Estabrooks just checking to see if he got hit on the deflection. He's looking toward the refs, asking for some clarification. They will meet at the middle one more time. I say one more time. They're probably going to be a couple more times.
Yeah. 5 minutes left. Once again, as we get down to the wire, once that timer hits just about zero, that last 10 second, things are going to get chaotic again, right? When you start overtime, both teams start with 3 balls, so look for balls to start flying as we get to that zero, that quadruple goose egg on the timer.
Yeah, but we aren't there yet. Waddingham hit out a little early, and Estabrooks as well.
Malaysia looking to tie it up here.
Yeah, they've come on strong since Canada's timeout, so
yeah.
Not sure that had the intended effect.
Ooh, double throw. I think it's a little bit risky instead of being able to have a blocker for each player, but I think Snow just saw something and tried to take the shot, but just couldn't connect.
And Snow tagged out Tom Singh as well, so it's just Josh Eustace one more time.
Let's see what Eustace can do here. We've seen, ooh, nice tag with that dropping ball.
Yeah, that drop curve fooling Gunting.
What a move. The Malaysians, get down so low and put that ball up. That dropping curve is keeps them honest with it, right? They can't just do it blindly. So good shot by Eustace there.
Yeah, and we saw his quick feet too, as he's trying to just make it confusing where he's actually going to go. He's got some of the quickest feet on the team. I think he's got amazing mobility as a player.
Another one of those dropping curves, but a bit high. Good job with that dodge left and snapping back right.
Oh, and he does get grazed. Pyong finds him. Malaysia tying it up.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the tools you can use if you find yourself playing against players who go really low behind the ball and they're looking as your shot comes in, I think that drop shot is one that if you can figure out how to throw it, it's pretty effective. We hear some excitement from the other court as Hong Kong threatening to take a point from the American side. And they do. You can probably hear that.
Yeah. Let's see what that score is quick. Actually, we're starting off this next match.
And meanwhile, 7-7 in this match. Malaysia with a 3-point run right now to close the gap entirely with Canada, who did call a timeout when they went up 7-4. And sorry, you were saying?
Oh, sorry, no, my bad. USA just won 10-3 over Hong Kong. That's final for them.
And this game, 3.5 minutes away from regulation ending. We'll find out what the final score is in a little bit. A little bit of repairs being done to the court right now as they need to put down that white clear line once again.
Once again, player safety comes first, right? Talking about it earlier in the week with some of the refs that, it's backpedaling that somehow is pulling the courts apart a little bit. So anytime the refs see it, they're making sure to take care of it right away. These floors are apparently super slick when wet, so they've been mopping and sponging constantly between every single game. So good job on WDBF for really taking care of the players that are here.
And we see a connection early on from Canada on this point. They're going to need to get that momentum back for their side.
Yeah, good work. 6 on 5. Good pressure by Malaysia. And they hold off.
Yeah, you can see them saying, like, hey, stop, stop. We've got 5 of the balls now. Zanke, often the Canadian who comes up high. This time not taking the shot, but trying to draw in as much as he can.
Great pressure, keeping that team alive. Good work. 5-ball play, and now they have their own 4-ball play in return. Good work by Canada.
They find Gunting. They invest 2 balls in him. And you have to wonder if the fact that Canada is willing to throw with that 1 ball and the 1-man high means that teams are extra worried about it in those situations.
Absolutely. If all you're going to do is pump fake and you don't dedicate any actual throws to it, teams are going to assume you're never going to throw. So by doing it even rarely, you're dedicating some thought that the other team has to give to it, right? They're going to have to play a little more cautious. They can't just they're not going to feel safe.
Now we see a lot of movement from the Canadians as the shots come in, and Estabrooks was hit out there. He feigned as if he was going to throw again, maybe looking to draw something in, but he joins his inactive players on the sideline right now in the queue. And we see a shot connecting with Huang. Mergler traded out for as well.
Yeah. Okay, Canada can keep doing 1-for-1 trades here, and that's going to be their advantage. Let's see what Malaysia builds here.
They look for Snow, but that shot from Ravichandran does not find him.
Hey, Ranikan's back in. I didn't even notice that. Let's see what he can do here. I bet you Ranikan's going to throw. Yep.
Yeah, and I think they found Tom Singh. Snow traded out as well. Ranikan going aggressive, as we also see Chia knocked out. It is 2 on 2. This is a very important point. Ravichandran heading toward Ranikan.
Just so the people at home know, I don't think we've talked about this yet, is that no match can end in a draw. So if let's say Canada wins here with a minute left, Malaysia wins in no block after that, and the score is 8-8. We'll go to I believe a 2-minute overtime where it goes back to regular rules, and after that it goes to no block again to finish out the match. So.
I think it might actually be 4 minutes if we get into that position, but otherwise, yeah, I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
We saw Malaysia there calling a timeout.
Yeah, I don't think we've had one of those true overtimes yet. Right? We've had plenty of no blocks, and, games that have been mostly no blocks, but we haven't seen any overtimes, at least on this court, as far as I'm aware.
And both teams taking some time to talk. Once again, we see Canada doesn't really do the whole team huddle thing. It looks like Coach Vic Gravilli often comes out to talk to his team. Then he adjourns to the sideline, and the players just kind of maybe after that, who are still on the court, maybe talk a little bit among themselves, or they just try to stay loose. But meanwhile, their opponents often huddle up. Everybody, ball retrievers, coach, players who have already been eliminated on the point.
So by the way, I think that the clock was a little bit off before. It was only 58 seconds left. I think it said something about 3 minutes earlier. So this is a dire situation for both teams.
Yeah, this point may be the one that decides the match, so both teams obviously going to want to make the best of it. Canada only 1 ball in hand right now. Ranikan uses it to block, though. And now he bobbles it a little bit. Zanke does get one just in time. And now Canada is going to get a chance to talk about what they want to do. Ravichandran and Pyong still in it. Ranikan's shot bouncing. Pyong draws another ball out. And Canada still with 2 in hand.
Is that 4 balls? Yeah, 4 balls on the Malaysian side. And go for Ranikan.
Yeah, we see the hops from Cameron Ranikan there.
I think this is smart by Malaysia. They seem to be keeping 3 balls and, probably to dedicate more as it gets into those final seconds to really commit hard if they don't think Canada can respond before no block and try to make it a 2v1 maybe.
And I think time may
0.
have already expired.
Okay. Everyone was safe on the court.
It's interesting. I heard
Never mind. No. Maybe.
I heard the Canadian sideline counting down, and they were only at 2 when the whistle went. So I'm not actually sure if time fully expired or not.
Yeah, that was. The refs are convening here. Let's see what happens.
We see thumbs up from players on both sides to each other, showing that mutual respect.
Yeah.
At the moment, it looks like it's still going to be a 2-on-2.
I mean, right? You're playing for pride here, right? No one's walking away with like $1 million or anything like that. And the quality of your opponents is part of that pride, right? You're not going to feel good if you played teams that you didn't feel were good or challenged you. So seeing that mutual respect is great to see.
And I think players on both of these sides, like, they don't want to win by doing anything other than earning it. So this is exactly the situation where you're going to feel like you earned it. Coming down to, I think I may have been wrong, and Pyong was hit out. So it's actually just a 2-on-1 in favor of Canada right now. Harigaran Ravichandran, the only player remaining on the Malaysian side as we head into no blocking.
I think Pyong's in the middle right now. Isn't he? Talking to the refs?
Maybe. I can't 100% tell.
We'll see in a moment.
Yeah,
right?
we'll find out.
Yeah. I mean, he also could, someone's on the side getting water and this and that. So.
I think that's actually Carlos Benjamin Gunting, who's in the middle.
Oh, okay.
I believe he's acting as the captain this year for Team Malaysia. So that would be why he is in the middle talking with the referees.
Got it.
Coach Vic Gravilli coming over to join the huddle at center. Oh, and it looks like Zanke is hurt. So that may be part of what the delay is, but he just got helped off to the bench, and looks like Canada's made an injury substitution with Will Andrusik, who I don't believe has played at all in this match. Zanke looks like he's in rough shape on the sideline. We'll get an update if we can. It sounds like the throws were a wash and play was stopped for injuries. So I'm not clear on if we've actually reached time, but we have received word from the sideline that play was stopped for the injury. Yeah. That is why we see Will Andrusik coming in. Substitution has to be somebody who is not an active player on this point, although obviously does have to be one of their teammates.
Okay.
Hopefully Zanke is okay.
If there's no one on the bench to replace him with, is the first person that was supposed to be called in is the next one in?
So thankfully we're told it's just bad leg cramps, which should not preclude Nathaniel Zanke from playing the rest of this tournament. And in the back and forth, we see a shot from Ranikan connecting!
Ranikan seals the deal, puts Canada up 8-7. Great work by this Canadian team.
And
that was a match.
That was such a quick finish too. I mean, we knew that was a possibility. Both sides wanting to play aggressive and kind of just take their shots. Ranikan connecting on his second ball thrown. Ravichandran was in a tough spot against 2 players.
Yeah, 100%. I think the fact that you can't really play that passively, block, right? You have to take control of the situation, even with a 2v1. And especially being, 2v1, not being able to dedicate to, both players at one time, maybe like a bait catch or something like that. But with the strength of both of these throwers, I think Canada made the right choice of playing aggressive there, and especially with Ranikan, who we talked earlier over and over about, the quality shots that he takes. So
yeah, he was connecting quite a bit. That drop curve of his was pretty effective at getting through some of the blocking balls sometimes, but I also really like the way Ravichandran played it too. He went aggressive and for exactly the reasons you talked about. You can't sit back and hope. There are too many dangerous throwers at this level of play, so playing it aggressively, almost certainly the right call. So with that match out of the way, full marks to Malaysia for coming back to force a 7-on-7 sudden death period, but Canada able to clutch it out and take the 8-7 victory.
Yeah, great work. So up next after this is Mexico versus Malaysia for the women's division. And then following that will be our last match of the day, with Canada-Italy, also women's division.
I believe the first time we've seen both of those Canada and Italy women's teams on this court. So that'll be something to watch. We will also see in the next time slot New Zealand and Great Britain will be playing on the men's division, and Australia and Mexico on the second court in the background. So
it's going to be a little tough for Australia there. It looks like they're playing the next time slot and the following time slot back to back.
although that is the men's, then the women's in this case.
Oh, thank you. Yep. I just read Australia and Australia, so
It just might be emotionally difficult, but
yeah. All the cheering that team is going to do. Not as much as Argentina, but
I think as a bit of a special treat for the upcoming match with Mexico and Malaysia, we're going to have one of the Mexican commentators, Carlos, joining us on the mic. That will be coming kind of soon. And for now, though, we're going to cut. And so we will be back with you in a little bit with Team Mexico and Team Malaysia. Stay with us. We'll be back soon.
What a game.